bombshell that could be what actually may destroy.
Hey guys, welcome back to Xcom Enemy Within.
Is the new accusation
Just doing a regular run. No big deal.
To the jury here when he talked about Trump and the Stormy Daniels deal.
Okay.
Earlier this week on Monday and Tuesday, Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen told the jury that it was former President Trump who planned and approved.
Let me see what's going on.
Stormy Daniels quiet. But now a prominent New York lawyer says Cohen told him he did it, that Trump was not involved and did not even know about the payments to Stormy. Attorney Robert Costello advised Cohen in 2018 when Cohen was raided by the FBI. A testimony before a House Judiciary Subcommittee yesterday, Costello said Cohen told him this back then, quote, he, Cohen, thought the story would be embarrassing for Trump, and especially for Melania, so he decided he would take care of this himself. When asked if Trump had any knowledge of this, Cohen told me no.
Their target is Donald Trump. So I want you to think carefully now. I said, Michael, the way this works is if you have truthful information about Donald Trump, that's clearly what they're looking for, I can have all your legal problems solved by the end of the week. His response? I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump.
Well, Trump lawyer Todd Blanche could confront Cohen this morning during cross-examination and ask Cohen if he did lie to the jury here. You know, he has tried to portray Cohen as a hateful, scorned advisor who's seeking revenge on Trump when Trump moved to the White House from Trump Tower. Blanche asked him, quote, you recall saying on the phone that you really miss the boss. You said, boss, I miss you so much. I wish I was down there with you. It's really hard for me not to be there. Do you remember that? Cohen said, I don't recall that. But the former president will likely have a lot to say about Robert Costello and these new claims. Costello is not a witness here, so the former president is not under a gag order when it comes to Costello. And certainly Blanche could bring this up later on today. Quite a day to see about these Robert Costello claims about what Michael Cohen told him. Back to you.
And Robert Costello is our guest after this next guest who we have on set with us.
Thank you, Eric. Kaylee McEnany, co-host Outnumbered in many things. Say, Kaylee, good morning to you. We had a poll. A lot of numbers came out last time. Let's just go through them, okay? This relates to the debate, and we asked whether or not it's important to the American people. This is what we found. But the Trump and Biden debate, number one, thank you. Extremely important to American voters. If you include RFK, it's kind of split, right? 23, 20, 26, 29. Well, here's what happened in one of those debates back in 2020. Rolling.
They're senators. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is just the radical left. Will you shut up, man?
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Look, hey, are you saying I'm not going to listen to him? Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
And let me just say,
well, apparently the microphones are going to be off when the other person's not talking.
Probably a good thing. Look, 64% according to that poll, very or somewhat want to see, very or extremely want to see a debate. So the Biden administration knew that they needed to debate. The campaign went out there and they cleverly crafted where now they have 2 debates instead of 3 on their terms. Look, the challenge for both of them, for Trump, it's to stick to the issues. He wins on the issues. He has a story to tell. Biden doesn't want to talk about the issues. Look at the timing of this. It is after this case. It is likely right after the immunity decision comes out, which most people think Trump will prevail on. It's in Atlanta, Fulton County indictment. Biden wants to make this all about the legal issues. He wants to distract from the substance in the story. So if Trump can stay on message and not let substance detract from, or style detract from substance, he can very easily win this debate.
That's a great point, too.
It also comes after the New York Times poll, which solidified the thinking across the board that Biden is in denial about the polls. And we also understand from Jackie Heinrich's reporting that Biden's the one who said, I want to debate. And the staff was like, sir, it's like maybe not. But it is happening because, as you know, once the president says, I'm doing it, it happens. So let's pull up caller number 4 about the issues. So this is our poll that shows Biden prevailing a bit on abortion, healthcare, election integrity, tied on energy policy, which I find surprising, but okay. But to your point, Trump's got to focus on the issues. Trump prevailing on foreign policy, crime, economy, and immigration by quite a lot. So if you have that basket of issues that people care about, and we know that Trump wants to stick on the issues if he can, Right.
It should probably win the debate.
If you told me I was winning on abortion and healthcare, but losing on every single other issue, including all the top issues to voters, I would want to be dealt the second hand of cards. Trump has the right hand of cards in his hand. This microphone situation will likely help him. Cutting it off, not talking over the other. And I think we've seen of late, particularly in the last 3 weeks, a particularly message-disciplined candidate in Trump. The stakes are high. The stakes are personal for him. Very personal as he stares down a very perilous legal path should he not win the election. So I think you're going to see a message-disciplined Trump. Biden's counting on Trump 1.0 showing up, incumbent Trump. We know incumbents typically have hard times in the first debate. He's counting on that. I don't think you can count on that.
Well, you have to figure why yesterday they went on offense, and I think we can show from our Fox programs. We've seen other numbers that are worse. But this is what we found. Among black voters, he's down 7 points from 2020. Among Hispanic voters, just a point. Suburban women down 7 points. Moderates down 8 points. And here's where I think this election is. Really, you can find the truth about how people are feeling about the presidency. Under age 30, he's down 14 points. And it may sound ageist to say it, but young people see him as an older man, and I don't know how more delicately to put that.
Yeah, and young people not only see him for that, but they also see the fact that they can't afford homes. The interest rates are sky high. The housing prices are sky high. And they are facing down huge grocery bills with inflation. I would not underestimate, though, the power of TikTok. Most young people get their news from social media. Biden has a TikTok operation. I was thrilled to see the super PAC for Trump getting out there on TikTok. I think TikTok's not good for society, but you got to use it if you're a candidate. So you can't count on young people. If you want to try to make sure those young people are driven to the polls and aren't just motivated by the issues, make sure you're out on TikTok, on social media, to bring those voters over to your column on election day.
What do you think about the idea that the vice presidential debate would be so early in the end of July?
Yeah, in the end of July, there needs to be another debate. I think there needs to be another debate closer to election day. I think we'll end up seeing one. It depends how this goes. Look, we could have the first debate and Biden says, whoa, that was brutal. It's time to parse these in. But look, that's a big debate. First time Kamala Harris standing up against someone who needs to bring in suburban women. You saw that's where Biden was doing best in that poll that you mentioned. That VP candidate will have that moment on the debate stage to try to win over suburban women and message perhaps in a way different than Trump, but complimentary.
Just one last point. I know Trump's been saying anytime, anywhere you call it, you name it. They have an empty lectern, I think, on the stage of a lot of his rallies. I think Trump jumped the gun. I think he went too fast before he could negotiate the qualifications for the debate itself. I mean, there's a real good thing. What Trump wants is Biden to walk in, everybody to look and say, oh my.
Yeah.
There's a real good chance they're sitting at a table, and the camera comes up, and they're already in position. And that moment will be gone.
There will be no crowd, there will be no energy, and you will be sitting before a moderator who called the Trump presidency a nightmare. So this is definitely home territory for Joe Biden, in my opinion. Trump can compensate for that, but it will be a very different dynamic. And the curse of heightened expectations for Trump and low expectations for Biden, you want to try to reverse that ahead of 6 weeks from now.
That's right. That's why Greg Gutfeld, that's why on 5 said Biden's an amazing debater, and he's going to be amazing. He's going to do so well in this debate.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to.
That's good. See you soon. Okay, thanks for coming in. While we wait to hear from the former president, we're watching the U.S. Supreme Court, where a decision impacting Trump from prosecution could come down at 10 o'clock Eastern, and we think it might be that early. We'll see. Court's in session.
Right, and also happening right now, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez back in court for his federal corruption trial. Opening statements about to get underway as saying, as his lawyers throw his wife right under the bus.
Also, moments from now, you will hear from the former legal advisor to Michael Cohen. His name is Robert Costello. He had some stunning testimony before Congress yesterday. He calls Cohen a serial liar. He will tell us his story in moments.
Innovation in healthcare means nothing if no one can afford it. At Evernorth, we're helping to unlock barriers. Using our 35-plus years of pharmacy benefits management experience to save businesses billions while boosting medication adherence, helping plan sponsors and their members be at their best. That's wonderful, made possible. Evernorth Health Services.
Why choose the Sleep Number Smart Bed? Can it keep me warm when I'm cold?
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
Sleep Number does that. Now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition sport bet, plus 0% interest for 36 months. Shop now at sleepnumber.com.
My name is Dr. Zach. I'm a doctor of podiatric medicine.
My name is Todd. I'm a paramedic firefighter. I've been on the job for 28 years.
My name is Dr. Peter Munter. I'm a chiropractor in New York, Long Island. I've been taking Balance of Nature for 23 years.
I love Balance of Nature, and this is definitely a product that I would recommend to other people. I'll never stop taking it.
How many 70-year-old pictures, As far as Balance of Nature goes, I'll keep taking this stuff until I die. I'm almost 55 years old, and because I have so much vitality, I can really enjoy the great outdoors. Our bodies are kind of like machines. If you do not give the machine the proper nutrition, it's not going to work very well. Simple as that.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Call or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS.
CIDP disrupts.
CIDP derails.
Let's be honest. CIDP
Fucking prick. Same shot, same deal.
CIDP,
Doesn't have to.
when you sign up at Shining.
So here is the moment, one of many that will happen today. All right, let's drop it.
Are you worried about a conviction?
We get the progress to go. We make the progress. We are going to be working with a lot of people over the next couple of weeks. This is finishing up at some point. It'll be finished. Every single review, every legal scholar that I've been able to read said there's no case, there's no crime. It's a disgrace that it was allowed to happen. The judge, as you know, is highly conflicted like nobody I've ever seen. He should not be the judge. He should not be allowed to have anything to do with this case. He should be so far away from this case. Outside, if you take a look, it looks like we're Fort Knox. There's so many police and they don't allow people to come. You're allowed to have friendly protests, but we're not allowed to have anything here. They have more police and more assistant DAs and DAs. I've never seen anything like it. Over what everybody out of there, so it's everybody said there's no crime here. There's no crime. Jonathan Turley, every single person, Rick Jarrett, Andy McCarthy, look, anyone you want to name, Mark Levin, Rick Lawyer, all of them, Rick Lawyers, Rick Legal, scholars. Every single one said there's no crime. The crime is that they're doing this case. This was a case that wasn't going to be done, and then when I announced I was running, they could have done it 7 years ago. This could have been brought 7 years ago. But they wanted it right smack in the middle of the election. These are very dishonest people that we're dealing with.
That was a fucked up move.
Fort Knox, you can't get within 3 blocks of this place if you're a civilian. And it's a shame what they're doing. What they're doing in terms of suppression and election interference has never been anything like that. The good news is the polls are through the roof. One just came out way up in North Carolina, way up in Georgia, way up in Nevada, way up in Arizona. Overall, way up, leading by 5, 6, 7 points. Crooked Joe Biden was crooked president we've ever had, the worst president in the history of our country. We have a lot of congressmen and some senators down today, and they're all up in arms over this. They can't even believe it. We have quite a few congressmen. I guess you'll be talking to them in a little while. But I want to thank you very much for coming. At least we're getting the word out, but it's very unfair. I'd like to be in these various states where I should be campaigning like anybody else. This is a Biden trial. This all comes out of the White House and the Department of Justice. This is all them. In fact, a lead person from the DOJ is running the trial. So Biden's office is running this trial. This trial is a scam and it's a sham and it shouldn't happen. Thank you very much.
Do you have really motivated? Do your voters believe you? Do you have faith in your legal team?
So he's had some decent news outside the courtroom, that being the polling numbers that we've been talking about throughout the week in the New York Times, and really some of our polling that we put out last evening shows the election in his favor just by a hair nationally. If you get state by state, you see Trump has an edge in a lot of those battleground states. So that's his main message right now. What does he say in court? For that, we turn to two of our most trusted legal minds in
Yes,
America.
they are back with us, Andy McCarthy and Jonathan Turley. Thanks to you both for being here. So here we go, another day of cross-examination of Michael Cohen. Jonathan Turley, what do you think they have to hit first from the defense point of view?
Well, first of all, note that in the president's remarks, his last line could be argued by Bragg to violate the gag order since it was a reference to Colangelo. He's allowed to criticize Bragg, the judge. I'm not too sure if they'll view that as an additional violation. In my view, the gag order is way too broad. This is an example of that. But what we're going to be seeing today with Michael Cohen is really the closing in on the witness. The first day of cross-examination was a partial day, and to some degree, those questions can be a bit of targeting shots to get a good beat on a witness, and then you sort of give the broadsides. Today, the expectation is they will deliver those broadsides. This is obviously a target-rich environment, and it's made even more so with the testimony of Cohen's former lawyer, who is directly contradicting what he just said under oath before this court.
You're talking about Robert Costello, who testified before Congress yesterday. We're going to speak to him again in about 10 minutes. For planning purposes for our audience, court's out at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Andy. There's no court tomorrow, so the former president can attend his son's graduation. So then I guess we come back on Monday, you believe, right? Where do you start today? Do you keep going on the stand all day long? Where do you want to leave jurors going into an extended weekend?
Well, they have a lot of attacking of Cohen yet to do. I also think that that's kind of a two-edged sword for them, and they have to be careful about this. To my mind, Bill, the big thing here is that the NDAs are legal. If the NDAs are legal, a lot of this other stuff is just a bunch of noise. And what I'd be a little bit fearful about is it's true that Cohen is the only witness regarding Trump's state of mind with respect to the bookkeeping arrangement, the way that they, in the business records, they reflected the booking of the reimbursement of the NDA. So since he's the only witness, he's not corroborated on that. Bragg has Weisselberg sitting in Rikers Island, so he's the only other witness. He can't testify. We have to presume if he had something helpful to the state to say, that Bragg would have immunized him and called him. He didn't. So that part of the case rests on Cohen, and they want to go after Cohen on that because he's the only link of Trump's state of mind to the way those records are booked. But my point is, if the NDA is legal, it doesn't matter how the records were booked as long as Bragg can't prove fraud, and I don't think he can. So you want to make sure the jury doesn't think that you're afraid of the way that the records were booked and afraid of the NDAs. You don't want to make them look like they're radioactive, because if they're legal, then he wins the case.
Okay. Gentlemen, stand by. The AG, Merrick Garland, is speaking in Washington. Not quite sure what this is about, but he's taking questions before he leaves for an FBI memorial.
Influences. That's what we're doing here. We're protecting our ability to continue to do high-profile and sensitive investigations, and we will continue to do that.
It now seems the odds now seem vanishingly small that the two Jack Smith federal cases are going to begin trial, let alone finish trial this year. What does that say about the pace of the justice system and confidence in this Justice Department?
Look, the special counsel brought both cases last year. He appropriately requested speedy trials. The matter is now in the hands of the judiciary, and I'm not going to be able to comment any further.
A few pointed questions about Jack Smith, special counsel, whether he gets off the ground, I guess, before the big election. Back to Andy and Jonathan. Jonathan, you heard that. We weren't expecting Garland to come out, but he said to do an FBI memorial. Where is Jack Smith's case now?
Well, right now it's dead in the water, and the question is what the Supreme Court will do on the immunity question. If the court sends that back and says, we think that there's a more nuanced approach here, we don't like the extreme interpretations by either the Trump team or by the lower court, that's going to require findings of fact. That will require time, and I can't imagine how they could possibly get the trial before the election. But it's really amazing to see these loaded questions from some of the for the Attorney General about what does this say about the justice system, suggesting that it's going too slowly. The Supreme Court expedited this case. Jack Smith is the one who's been saying that Trump should not be entitled to what most defendants are entitled to, things like in-bank reviews and cutting short the appellate process and speeding through these cases. It's really Jack Smith that is asking for exceptions to the standard procedures and scheduling of cases.
Andy, the press did not ask about the Hunter Biden trial that's about to get underway and obviously getting under Biden's skin.
That's trials with an S, Dana, because it's June 3rd, I think, is the gun case, and June 20th, at least tentatively, is the tax case out in California. You have to think that the administration is desperate for those cases not to be tried. The evidence is sufficiently daunting that Hunter was willing to plead guilty to these charges as long as it was arranged that he wouldn't have to suffer much in the way of consequences from them. The gun case is very bad for Biden. The tax case is even worse because it's about Hunter earning revenue from peddling Joe's political influence. I have to think there's furious behind-the-scenes plea negotiations going on, but they have to be very careful because of the sweetheart deal that's already blown up in this case.
Starts in a couple of weeks. Gentlemen, stand by, okay? In a moment, we're going to introduce our audience to our next guest, Robert Costello. He was Michael Cohen's attorney 6 years ago. He laid some whoppers before Congress yesterday. We'll ask him about all of that momentarily when we continue. First, a quick commercial break.
Need to get your windshield fixed? SafeLight makes it easy. You can schedule in just a few clicks, and we'll come to you with a replacement you can trust. Schedule free mobile service now at SafeLight.com.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
When you show dogs at Westminster Dog Show as long as we have,
people always ask for pet tips. For us, joint health comes first.
and it starts with Cosequin. Our dogs are like athletes in the ring.
But at home, there are companions just like yours.
Our veterinarian recommends giving them Cosequin every day.
For the moments that matter,
Trust Cosequin.
Cosequin, the #1 veterinarian recommended retail joint health brand, an official joint health supplement of the Westminster Dog Show.
In this crazy world, how do you protect and grow your investment portfolio and your retirement money? The smart investor has their money in a guaranteed product that goes up with the market. Their gains lock in, and when the market goes down, they don't lose money. Forward with their money, never backward. And we do it for our clients every day. If you have at least $100,000 to invest, get your investor's guide and see if it's right for you.
I was just feeling sick. And it was the worst day. Mom was crying. I was sad.
I was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma.
Once we got the first initial hit, it was just straight tears, sickness in your stomach, just don't want to get up out of bed. That's it. Well, you got to look on the bright side of things. Tell me what the bright side of childhood cancer is.
It's a long road. It's hard. But St. Jude has gotten us through it.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital works day after day to find cures and save the lives of children with cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Thanks to generous donors like you, families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus on helping their child live.
Without all those donations, St. Jude would not be able to do all of the exceptional work that they do.
For just $19 a month, you'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment these kids need.
And no matter if it's a big business or just the grandmother that donates once a month. they are changing people's lives. And that's a big deal.
Join with your debit or credit card right now, and we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt that you can proudly wear to show your support.
Our family is forever grateful for donations big and small because it's completely changed our lives and it's given us a second chance. St. Jude's not going to stop until every single kid gets that chance to walk out of the doors of this hospital cancer-free.
Please don't wait. Call or go online or scan the QR code below right now.
Healthy blood pressure and CoQ10 support? It's super convenient thanks to the ingredients in Super Beets. And now new Super Beets Advanced Heart Chews with a clinically researched dose of CoQ10, plus the grapeseed extract you love for 2-in-1 healthy blood pressure support. Why take CoQ10 separately when you can enjoy twice the benefits and the added power of CoQ10? The choice is simple. We're Super Beets, the #1 cardiologist-recommended beet brand for heart health support. Get a free month supply on all bundles at trysuperbeets.com.
What would you like to pay for your hotel room tonight? $185, $169, or $155? Same room, same service, just different price. It's really up to you. Well, nobody asks you this at reception, but that's exactly what Trivago does. Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of booking sites. So, save yourself valuable time and money. Use Trivago. Compare hotel prices and save up to $30 a night. Hotel? Trivago.
Make your first move with battery power made by steel. Right now, save $50 on select AK System battery tool sets. Real steel, but yours.
We handcraft every Stearns & Foster using the finest materials like indulgent memory foam and ultra-conforming inner springs for a beautiful mattress and indescribable comfort. Save up to $800 on select adjustable mattress sets at stearnsandfoster.com.
Okay, let's get this going now. The judge is on the bench. Merchant is in there. We're getting our emails from our producers and reporters inside the courtroom. And he greets the parties, asks if there is anything need to talk about, anything regarding scheduling. Todd Blanche, the attorney for President Trump, asked to approach, and they are now having a sidebar. With that, let's bring in a former legal advisor to Michael Cohen. His name is Robert Costello. He represented Cohen at the start of the federal investigation and has been released from his attorney-client confidentiality agreement. Hence the reason why you're able to talk to us. And, sir, thank you for your time today. And we watched you before Congress yesterday, and that was something else. This is part of what you had said to Congress yesterday. You said, Cohen told you, I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump. Now, you testified before Alvin Bragg's grand jury. Did you tell them what you told Congress yesterday?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because before I testified on a Monday before the grand jury, I gave Alvin Bragg's assistant DAs the courtesy of about an hour and a half Zoom conference where I told them all of the exculpatory material that I had that they were supposed to put before the grand jury. But when I appeared before the grand jury, they were asking me questions that, in my opinion, and I've been a federal prosecutor myself, I was deputy chief of the criminal division in the Southern District of New York. Those questions they were asking me were not going to elicit the exculpatory information that I had. So I began to expand upon my answers, and the DA's office was trying to shut me down, saying that I had finished my answer. And I told them that when I'm in the middle of answering a question, I'll decide when I finish my answer, and I asked them not to interrupt me again. But basically, they only put in a small cherry-picked group of emails. I presented maybe 200 to 300 emails and text messages to them. I had them with me, luckily, in chronological order. They put 2 or 3 into evidence. I asked them, are you going to put the rest of them into evidence? And they said no. And I said, remember, there's a court reporter there. I said, why not? They said, there's a legal issue with them. I said, what's the legal issue? And he said, hearsay. Now, first of all, hearsay is admissible in the grand jury, so that's really not an objection. But I played along with it, and I said, hearsay. Well, then pay close attention to the next two sentences. I said, these documents were made in the regular course of business, and it was the regular course of business to make and maintain documents such as these at or about the dates indicated. I said, now you know, and I know, but the grand jurors don't know. That makes these documents business records. And you know, and I know, but the grand jurors don't know, that business records are an exception to the hearsay rule. So are you going to put the rest of the documents into evidence? And they indicated most likely no. So I simply said to the grand jurors, I said, you people should demand these documents. You should demand to see everything in chronological order so you get a real view of what Michael Cohen was like in those days at that moment in time. I said, and then ask yourself this question. Why are they trying to keep these documents from me? Well, after that, I left the grand jury. I have no idea whether they put the documents into evidence or what happened, but subsequently Donald Trump was indicted. And you've seen the fruits of that indictment in this trial, which is a trial about something.
Okay.
When I met with Michael Cohen on the first day at the Regency Hotel, when he was suicidal by his own admission, I explained to him non-disclosure agreements, NDAs as he was calling it, I said are perfectly legal because he kept on saying, why are they trying to put me in jail for an NDA? And I explained to him, that's not why they're trying to put you in jail. Obviously, they think you've done other things. What are they? He denied having done anything else. I didn't do anything illegal. I'm cooperating with the special counsel. I'm cooperating with Congress because he forgot to tell us that he lied to Congress. But he was desperately seeking, according to his own words, an escape route. I want you guys to tell me how I can get out of this, because he saw these enormous legal problems coming his way. They were so bad in his mind that he was willing to kill himself. And so I kept on going back and suggesting to him, listen, Michael, if you have something truthful on Donald Trump, now is the time to cooperate. And he kept on saying over and over again, 10 to 20 times, I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump. I even said to him, Michael, think about this. Isn't it easier to cooperate against Donald Trump if you have truthful information than it is to kill yourself? Well, the answer is obvious. That was his moment in time. If he had something truthful to say, I'm willing to cooperate. But he didn't take that. He kept on saying, I have nothing on Donald Trump. And then when we got into the discussion of the Stormy Daniels NDA, he said specifically, and I cross-examined him on this was my idea. It was his idea to take care of the NDA because he had been contacted by a lawyer for Stormy Daniels who said she was going to claim that Donald Trump had sex with her. Cohen said, I didn't believe the allegation, but nevertheless, it would be embarrassing to Melania. That's Michael Cohen's words. He said, and so I decided to take care of this myself. Now, he took out a home equity loan for $130,000 and used that. And he did tell us that he got repaid later. We didn't get into the details of that because that was not what we were focused on at the moment. We were trying to figure out what was Michael Cohen going to be charged with by the Southern District of New York. And then, as you know, ultimately, he pled guilty to 8 counts, 7 of which had nothing to do with Donald Trump. And then after that, he attempted to cooperate by telling fibs to the U.S. Attorney's Office that Rudy Giuliani and I conspired basically to obstruct justice and tamper with the witness being Michael Cohen. With all these emails and text messages that I had, it was absolutely clear that there was no truth whatsoever to that. So the U.S. Attorney said to Michael Cohen, in order for us to investigate this, you have to waive the attorney-client privilege. And that's what he did. And when they called me up and presented me with the waiver, I then gave them the documents they requested. I went down and I was interviewed for a couple of hours with 2 AUSAs and 2 FBI agents. At the end of that interview, everybody was laughing because I showed how ludicrous the accusation was. And they, being the Southern District of New York, never used Michael Cohen again. They didn't indict Donald Trump for anything, and they never used Michael Cohen, and they didn't give him any credit for his cooperation. That's a lesson that the Manhattan DA's office should have learned, but they haven't learned it yet.
One of the things I found so interesting about what you just said, amongst many, is that the grand jury didn't get to hear some of the things that you thought they should hear. And for all of us, it's what they do now. It's like, wow, and I wonder, having been subpoenaed by the defense, do you think you will be called to testify in New York at this trial?
I have not been subpoenaed. Whether I will be called to testify, it hasn't been decided yet. It depends a lot on what's going to happen today, and then what would happen on reading. If I wear Todd Blanchard's shoes, that's the analysis.
If you were in Todd Blanchard's shoes, would you call you to testify?
All right, guys. I'll see you.
Yes, because I'm a reliable person.
Go back to this meeting in 2016.